This is the Benchwarmers Trivia Podcast. We have assembled the world's finest sports and trivia dorks to prove once and for all that we are just as bad at this as we were at sports.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Benchwarmers Trivia Podcast. Sports trivia for those of us who rode the pine. You're listening to episode 271. I'm your host, Josh, and today's game will be pitting the Benchwarmer team of Scott Grimes and Eric Walling versus Benchwarmer Marcus Ellis and assistant coach for our Patreon team, Scott Hyland. Welcome back to the bench, Scott. Since you've played a number of our games, let's skip the typical who you are introduction, and please answer the following question. If you could have dinner with any athlete, living or dead, who would it be and why?
That's a good one. I'm going to say Pete Rose just because I feel like he's got some great stories. They're probably not appropriate and probably couldn't be shared with anyone, but I would enjoy them over a steak.
Fair. I think he would be rather entertaining. Okay, Marcus, same question to you, and also let us know what your and Scott's team name is going to be.
Sorry. Living or dead?
Living or dead.
Is that what we said?
Yeah. Basically any athlete from history.
Oh boy. I'd probably have dinner with George Kenneth Griffey Jr. It's the only answer. I just want to bask in his greatness and be around him and talk to him because he was like my whole reason for getting into sports at all was because he's the greatest. Nobody can tell me otherwise. You can't tell me Healthy Ken Griffey Jr. doesn't own every record that we like to put up, but we'll never know. But anyways, yes. And then I'm going to throw it back to Scott because he has our team name.
All right.
Yeah, so going back in the Wayback Machine, the first time I listened to one of the episodes, Dan was reading the rules and he was, going through the pre and post game introduction about the Colts all-time leading receiver. And without even missing a beat, I was like, I'm smart. I know how this is. The answer to this is clearly Reggie Wayne Brady. So every time I've been listening to it for, 2.5 years, I immediately answer Reggie Wayne Brady when Dan's reading the rules. So that's going to be our name.
Oh, that's great. All right, and Scott and Eric, I want you guys to answer the same dinner question and then let us know what your team name is going to be. I mean, might as well have Walling go first because we know who he's going to say.
Well, you're right. I thought about John Daly, and then I saw that video of him with Bryson DeChambeau, and he seems just impossible to hang out with. Like, the guy who's too drunk all the time? Like, that was him. But, yeah, I would say Lynn, Nolan, Ryan will be the number one on my list.
2006 WWE Lita is definitely up there for me because I feel like I have a chance.
All right.
But I'm gonna go with, and this is way off the beaten path for me, but because I want to know his secrets and how he pulls, I'm gonna say Derek Jeter.
All right,
because I want to know what's up. To pivot to a completely less successful baseball player for our team name. And I'm not even going to give any preamble or any context behind this, but our team name's just going to be the Jonathan Lucroy Scherzy Fan Club.
Texas Rangers legend?
That was a absolutely insane find. Somebody wearing a jersey of Jonathan Lucroy is disturbing on many levels.
I don't even think they made that.
All right, so we have Reggie Wayne Brady versus the Jonathan Lucroy Scherzy Fan Club. Well, let's just kick it over to our emeritus benchwarmer Dan for the rules.
The game will consist of 4 quarters of play, each with different trivia style. The styles of quarters 1 through 3 will change from show to show, and I will explain them as we go along. Like any good sporting event, we will have a halftime show after the second quarter with entertainment questions. And in the fourth quarter, our teams will wager from their points accumulated to see who are today's clipboard captains, to be honored like the true benchwarmers they are. All right, let's get this game underway.
Today's first quarter will be pre and post game.
Pre and post game. For this quarter, there will be 4 before and after style questions. For example, if I said, what all-time leader in receptions for the Indianapolis Colts was a Notre Dame safety drafted by the Minnesota Vikings, the answer would be Marvin Harrison Smith. Each question is worth 25 points.
Question 1. What 36-year-old Australian B-girl who went viral while competing in breaking at the 2024 Olympics also won the American League Rookie of the Year in 2023?
Yeah, we'll check in, Josh.
All right. Jonathan Lucroy, Jersey Fan Club has checked in, so Reggie, Wayne, Brady, you guys can talk it out.
Scott, I fully agree. What's funny is I was like, oh no, is he going to ask for her actual name? Because I was like, I don't think I know that. But then with the second half, with Gunnar Henderson, I'm like, oh, thank God. Scott, I'll ask you this. Do you think you could do better than she did on that same stage?
Yes, I do.
I agree. I'm with zero thought or hesitation. I was like, I would do better than that. 1,000%.
I mean, some of them were creative.
No, this one was sending me the kangaroo pose. I saw the darkest and funniest one of those memes now is somebody had her as Edward Norton in American History X. And you know what scene it would be if you know the movie. And I was just like, good Lord, this is the peak. We're not coming back from this. So anyways, go ahead and check in, buddy.
So we're going to check in with Ray Gunnar Henderson.
Okay, and Jonathan Lucroy, Jersey guys, what do you guys have?
What more can we even add to that? Other than Marcus sent me down a rabbit hole when he broke that she may just be one of the worst people on earth. So, so yeah, there's a lot of Ray Gun conspiracy out there. Ray Gunnar Henderson is what we checked in with.
Correct. Both teams are getting points. The correct answer would have worked with her stage name or her real name. The correct answer is Ray Gunnar Henderson or Rachel Gunnar Henderson. Either works. Ray Gunn performed numerous unorthodox moves, including the kangaroo, the snake, and the sprinkler. And Henderson was selected to his first All-Star game in 2024.
I think my favorite move of hers was that staple remover move she did on the floor.
Please tell me you saw the Australian UFC fighter last night in the prelims. She won and did that on the mat immediately after, and I died. I was so funny.
Okay, let's move on to question 2. What coach who worked in the NFL from 1968 to 1995, including head coaching stints with the Eagles and Cardinals, is also the Olympic shot putter who won his 3rd straight Olympic gold medal in Paris?
We'll check in.
Okay, Reggie Wayne Brady has checked in. So Jonathan Lucroy, Jersey Fan Club, you guys can talk it out.
I'm sure that it's Ryan. This is his first name. I'm not 100, which means Buddy Ryan has to be the first half, I think.
But yeah, he's not the one with the foot fetish, right?
No, he's saying, well, we don't know. Let's just say he's not the one with the public nose has a foot fetish.
Yeah, he did. Yeah, were you gonna say it could be hereditary? Because I was thinking the same thing.
Yeah, no, I agree. So Ryan something or other.
Starts with a C or a G.
Oh wow, okay, those are very different.
They look the same though.
They do. One of them just a G is actually just like a C with a little extra bit to it, Scott.
This is just as true.
Oh man, I don't know if I'm going to be able to get to his name. Let's come up with a name that sounds like a shot putter. You're good at coming up with names that sound like things.
This is true, and it could be a C or a G. So maybe it's something.
Let's go with C because C seems to feel better. We'll narrow it down for you.
C seems like more of a shot putter. Yeah.
Yes.
What's his ethnicity?
He's a big white dude.
Oh!
I was like, a shot putter. Come on, man.
Yeah.
I mean,
American shot putters are big white dudes.
Like Australian, I don't know. Okay, let's go with Ryan Corrigan. That sounds like a big white dude.
All right, let's do it, buddy. Ryan Corrigan. Check it in.
All right, and Reggie Wayne Brady, what'd you guys have for an answer?
So I was hoping when you read the first half of the question that it was going to work out really well to the surprise that I was trying to plan for you guys for a guest appearance on the podcast tonight. That didn't work out, but Mike Singletary is my neighbor. He moved in last week. So I see him in the parking lot in his Tesla all the time. So I was trying to see if I could rope him in, but I haven't seen him all weekend. So I didn't get a chance to ask him if he wanted to come stick his head in. Also, not the answer. We checked in with Buddy Ryan Krauser.
All right, one team is getting their points. The correct answer is Buddy Ryan Krauser. Buddy's sons Rex and Rob are fraternal twins. I did not know that. And Krauser holds the world record in shot put, both indoors and outdoors. He's a big dude.
He is a big dude.
Big white dude.
Here's my brain on delay. You guys really missed an opportunity with your team name. You should have been Jersey Boys. That would have been good.
Cool. Big white shot putters don't cry. Yeah.
All right, well, let's move on to question 3 in pre and post game. What NFL wide receiver who has recently been trolled by Olympic gold medalist and fastest man in the world Noah Lyles is also the face of U.S. National Rugby Sevens team who won the bronze medal at the 2024 Olympics?
You only win bronze, so you still get to be the face of your team.
Yes.
You get to be the face of your
When it's a
team.
monumental upset like that, yeah. Hell yeah.
The fact that they've medaled in rugby, that's huge.
Okay.
Huge.
And she's everywhere.
Yeah.
We're going to check in.
All right, the Jersey boys have checked in. Reggie Wayne Brady, you guys can talk it out.
It's sorry, I can't type. It's Ilana. Follow her on freaking Instagram.
I mean, I can tell you what her BMI is because she talked about that.
I'd let her toss me around. I'll tell you that.
Oof. I've got nothing.
She can ragdoll me.
Yeah.
And then mommy can stomp on me. It's God, it's Mayer, something like that. I'm gonna go with the kicker pronunciation and we'll say Maher. So it's obviously noted garbage human being Tyreek Hill and Ilana Maher. I think Tyreek Ilana Maher is what we're gonna check in with.
Okay, and Jonathan LaCroix, Jersey Fan Club, what'd you guys have for an answer?
Yes, man who fathered more children than Nick Cage last year. Or not Nick Cage, Nick Cannon. And Nick Cage. Really? Only one of those is impressive, though. Yeah, Tyreek Hill on Maher. I'm going with Maher, too.
All right, I will give both teams credit because that is what it looks like. In preparation of this, I looked up and saw one of her TikToks where she actually talks about how she says her name. So the correct answer is Tyreek Hilana Mar, but it is spelled Maher, and she says people often say Maher, but it's just Mar. At best, I say Tyreek is a knucklehead, and at worst, and probably most accurately, he's an FTG.
Yeah.
And to go along with Marcus saying that he follows her on Instagram, Mar is the most followed rugby player in the world on Instagram. And I added, and probably TikTok too.
Yeah.
At this point. All right. Well, good job to both teams on that one. Last one of the pre and post game. What two-time bronze medal winning gymnast who was compared to Clark Kent when he removed his eyeglasses before his pommel horse routines in Paris is the former Cincinnati Bengals running back known for his shuffle?
Check it in.
Jonathan LaCroix, Jersey Fan Club is checked in, so Reggie, Wayne Brady, you guys can talk it out.
He's got a long, dumb last name.
Foreign sounding.
Yeah, that goes into Icky Woods.
Right.
I mean, the memes off of his thing were also incredible. Just him just looking like he's the most bored he's ever been in his entire life. Right before going up on the pommel horse. Oh, man. Yeah, I don't know. I don't think I have this one.
No, I'm thinking Jonathan, but that also doesn't sound right. So I got nothing.
All right. I don't know. I can't even think of a funny thing right now for it. So we're going to go with, what's his first name? Did you say you know his first name?
No, I want to say
No.
it's Jonathan, but I'm not. That's
Jonathan Stelanoskevich Icky Woods. Yeah, that happened. That was a sentence that came out of my mouth. Check it in.
All right, and Jonathan Luke Reicher's fan club, what do you guys have?
It's my favorite meme of all of those was it's you and me and you and me and you and your friend Steve. Do, 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 do. And then it was just pictures of him doing the pommel horse. Steven Nedarozicki Woods. Thank you, Online Quiz League, for reminding me of his last name last week.
One team will be getting points. The correct answer is Steven Nedarozicki Woods. Steven enjoys playing chess, video games, particularly Rocket League, solving Sudoku, and the Rubik's Cube. For the latter, he has a personal record of 8.664 seconds. So he probably was looking bored because he wasn't able to be playing with his Rubik's Cube in between events. So he was probably just waiting to get back, because it seems I've seen him do the Rubik's Cube on one of the talk shows, and it seems like he had even more fun doing that than the pommel horse.
Who doesn't?
Mom, I gotta do pommel horse again.
Oh, I hate being good at this.
And Woods appeared in Bootsy Collins' video Who Day Invasion. There you go.
And the Geico commercial.
Get some gold cuts.
Which is how young kids know him now. They're like, oh, the guy from that commercial.
Yeah, all right. After the first quarter, we have the following scores. Each team missed one, not the same one, but so they're tied at 75.
We wanted to let you know that we are on Patreon if you'd be interested in supporting us financially. Your contributions will be used to help us cover the costs that it takes to bring you the high-quality sports trivia you have come to expect from us. There's also some great perks that come with the Patreon membership to the Benchwarmers Trivia Podcast, including bonus episodes and Benchwarmers swag. You can find us at patreon.com/benchwarmerstp. Thanks.
Let's move on to today's second quarter, which will be Flop, Turn, and River.
Flop, Turn, and River. For this quarter, there will be 3 questions consisting of 5 clues. The first 3 clues will be given before the teams decide if they want to check in with their guests. The last 2 clues will be given one at a time, with teams deciding if they want to check in with their guests after each subsequent clue. If a correct answer is checked in after the first 3 clues, the team will receive 50 points. After the 4th clue, 30, and after the 5th clue, 20.
Okay, question 1, where am I? Clue number 1. By population, I'm the 197th largest city in the world. Clue 2, I have 9 active professional sports teams. And clue 3, I was originally awarded the 3rd Modern Olympics, but they were moved to St. Louis to coincide with the World's Fair.
My population list cuts off at 195. So
So close.
Yeah.
I ran out of printer paper.
Yeah, we'll take another, Josh.
Okay.
Yeah. We're in the same boat. Nothing concrete. Our population knowledge is not good, so yeah, we'll take another one.
All right. Moving on to the turn. Clue 4. My active professional teams have won 41 championships, with the most recent occurring in 2021.
Josh, we are going to take the last clue, please.
Okay. So Jonathan Lucroy Jersey Fan Club's going to take the final clue. And Reggie Wayne Brady, you guys have roughly 45 seconds if you think you can get there. Otherwise, we can just move on to the 5th clue.
You want to just take it? Because I've exhausted about as much as I can out of this.
Yeah.
All right. We'll take another one.
Okay. I don't think it'll take long for either team to check in, because clue 5 is my nickname is the Windy City.
Munich. Scott, should we check in so they can talk this out?
We should check in, yeah.
We'll check in, Josh.
Okay. Jonathan Lucroy Jersey Fan Club is checked in. Reggie Wayne Brady, what you guys thinking?
I knew that this championship was not going to be like one of the big four. I was like, this is going to be the WNBA or like the MLS or something like that. And yeah, that lines up with the Chicago Sky, I'm pretty sure. So, yeah, you good to check in with Chicago, Scott?
Yes.
All right, checking in with Chicago.
Okay, Jersey boys, what do you guys have?
Yeah, we're going to do the same. Shout out to the Triviality boys. We're checking in with Chicago.
All right, I had already marked in the spreadsheet that both teams got it correct at this point. So the correct answer is Chicago, Illinois, US of A. Their 9 teams are the Bears, the Cubs, the White Sox, the Blackhawks, the Bulls, the Fire FC, the Sky, whose only championship so far was in 2021, the Red Stars of the NWSL, and the Hounds of MLR, so Major League Rugby. All right, let's move on to question 2. Who am I? Clue number 1. I was not born in the United States. Clue 2. I am a 2-time MVP. Clue 3. I am a 1-time Defensive Player of the Year.
Yeah, Josh will take the turn.
Jonathan Lucroy Jersey Fan Club's going to take another clue. Reggie Wayne Brady, you guys got a couple of minutes to determine if you want to check in or if you want another clue.
We'll take another one.
Clue number 4 for the turn is I led all players in points per game during the Paris Olympics.
Josh, we'll check in.
All right, Jonathan Lucroy Jersey Fan Club is checked in. So, Reggie Wayne Brady, you guys can talk it out, determine if you can come to an answer, or if you want the 5th clue, you can have the 5th clue.
I think we were pretty close to settling on an answer, Scott. So I'll just tell you what we've been going through. Initially, I was like, oh, Josh is trying to trick us. I was like, maybe it's Tim Duncan because he wasn't born. I mean, the Virgin Islands is a U.S. territory, but didn't feel great enough. So we took the second one, led all players in points per game. We quickly decided Nikola Jokic didn't qualify as the Defensive Player of the Year. But then now after we were looking at it and saw points per game, not necessarily total points, the 2-time MVP, Defensive Player of the Year, born outside of the U.S., led us towards Giannis Antetokounmpo. And so Scott, do you agree? And
Yes.
All
right. We're going to check in with Giannis Antetokounmpo.
All right. And Jersey Fan Club, what do you guys have for an answer?
Well, I would just like to point out that my teammate had a very similar first guess to you, and he wanted it to be known that if it were right, I have to admit that he were right.
Glad we didn't go for it.
But we did not go for it.
I also said Tim Duncan.
But Greece didn't play any games and many games, and they had no one else on their team. Like, they were god awful. And so Giannis was the only thing that kept him in, and he fit the other clues. So Giannis, we checked in.
Okay, well, let's check out clue 5 and see if you guys are correct. Clue 5. My nickname is the Greek Freak. Both teams are getting points because it is Giannis Antetokounmpo. The Greek Freak averaged 25.8 points per game in Paris, followed by Shai Gilgeous-Alexander with 21 points per game, and Kawamura Yuki with 20.3 points per game. So let's move on to the final question in Flop, Turn, and River. Question 3, it is another Where Am I? Clue 1, by population, I am one of the 10 largest cities in the world. Clue 2, I have 300 snooker clubs. That's for you, Dan. And clue 3, my country led the gold medal count when I hosted the Summer Olympics.
I'm good with it if you are.
I am.
Okay, we'll check in.
Jonathan Lucroy Jersey Fan Club is checked in, so Reggie Wayne Brady, you guys can talk it out. You got about a minute to determine if you're ready to give an answer or take another clue.
Yeah, I mean, I also thought London, but it seemed like maybe it was a bit of a layup. But
I don't know where else they would play snooker besides that part of the world. And I don't think the Summer Olympics.
You think in 2000 down in Sydney that they were just going to town on snooker?
You say that jokingly, but they're pretty much British, but they're just like Southern British, right?
Southern British. And then the only other one as far as gold medals that's always up there in Summer Olympics would be Beijing, but I don't know that they're like crazy for snooker over there. I don't know. If they're checked in, so if we want to take another one, we can. But if you feel good enough about London, I mean, I'm good with it.
I was good in London until you said Sydney.
Oh, okay.
No.
Well, that's what I get for opening my big dumb mouth. So do you want to take another one? I'm cool with it.
Let's take another one.
Okay.
Please.
Okay, the turn. I am the only city to host both a summer and winter Olympics.
Both summer and winter.
I've heard this on a podcast before, and I don't think it was this one. I don't think it's either of the two that we listed, because it's not going to be Sydney, because they're not going to do the Winter Olympics there. But I also don't think that London's ever hosted the Winter Olympics.
Well, I'm not going to be a ton of help because the Winter Olympic sites are really not. Yeah.
I mean, I can name a lot of them, but I can't pinpoint a Summer Olympics that was also there.
Like I said, there's a fifth clue.
Let's just take the last one because it'll clear it up. I'd rather just take less points than get it wrong.
Okay.
All right. Well, then the river. You're probably glad that you are taking this because clue 5, I am the capital city of China.
All right.
Go with Beijing.
And Jonathan Luke Jersey Fan Club, who checked in after the flop. What'd you guys have?
I just want to say I never doubted that they play snooker in Beijing.
No, he doubted they play snooker in Mexico City.
Okay, fair enough.
Which is why I said, that doesn't seem like it fits the culture. Populous cities, we had Tokyo and Beijing were the two that we were thinking of at first. China almost beat the U.S. or tied the U.S., so it stood to reason they might have had the most when they were hosting Summer Olympics. And then it was I don't remember Japan winning a bunch of summer ones, so that's why we checked in when we did. And then when we heard the two cities, who can forget the beautiful snowboard big air with the nuclear power plant cooling towers in the background? It was just scenic. So we checked in with Beijing.
All right. Both teams are getting some points. Correct answer is Beijing, China. Beijing is the 8th largest city in the world. Tokyo, the largest, has hosted the Summer Olympics twice, and Japan was 3rd in the gold medal count both times. And Mexico City, the only other city in the top 10 population-wise. They're the 7th largest, and they hosted the Summer Olympic once, and Mexico only won 1 bronze medal. So
and it wasn't in snooker?
We just have to get this out there. Snooker to me always sounds like some sort of slur, and it always sounds that way in my head, and I'm just like, oh, geez. I listened to another podcast and this guy goes, my test for if a word sounds like a slur is if you go, oh, my daughter's dating a snooker, and it doesn't feel right.
The problem, again, Marcus, is you're saying it with a hard R, and that's what makes
snooker. Snooker.
My snooker.
Snooker, please.
I can't get out of my head from Ted Lasso when he says that it reminds him of a cookie.
Oh, yeah. That's another good one.
Well, after the second quarter, we have the following scores. It's not tied anymore. Reggie Wayne Brady has 145, and the Jonathan Lucroy Jersey Fan Club is at 175. And that brings us to halftime.
It is now time for the halftime show. There will be 3 entertainment questions. Each question is worth 25 points.
As it shouldn't surprise you, it's another edition of ChatGPT pre and post game. I asked ChatGPT to make up plots for movies based on the combination of two movies and or television shows, with at least one being about sports. Plot number 1. Veteran Detective Andy is assigned to investigate a drug ring at a rowdy college known for its wild football team. Paired with the fresh-face officer Alex, the duo goes undercover to crack the case. Andy poses as the team's no-nonsense equipment manager, while Alex blends in as a new player. Navigating the absurd antics of the star quarterback Thad and the team's party culture, Andy struggles with the chaotic college atmosphere while trying to maintain his dignity as a seasoned cop. Meanwhile, Alex enjoys the perks of campus life, but soon realizes the case is more dangerous than expected. As they uncover a criminal network that stretches from the team's booster club to local dealers, the unlikely duo must balance frat house pranks with serious police work to bring down the drug ring before it spirals out of control.
All right, we'll check in.
Reggie Wayne Brady has checked in, so Jonathan Lucroy, Schurzy Fan Club, you guys can talk it out.
I don't know that I have this one. It's like, it sounds like just one movie. That's
I
the
know.
problem.
Yeah.
This is 22 Jump Street. This is just 22 Jump Street.
It's pretty much exactly what I thought. I'm looking for the other movie in this description and then not.
Right, but
Pretty much just a movie. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm trying to get there from the names, Andy and Alex, because it typically, when he does this, it tends to keep the character names. What movie or show has a duo that's Andy and Alex? And that is not coming to me. I know it's not Lethal Weapon because they didn't say anything about being too old for this. You know what?
Right.
So
Could it be? There's no real irony in here, so it can't be Catch 22 Jump Street.
I don't like, that's the thing. But 22 Jump Street, they're like Schmidt and Janko, so it's not even character wise. It's not even the. Yeah. So it's like fresh face officer and veteran detective. So we've got that dynamic.
Training Day.
Training day. So what's the sports one?
Days of Thunder. Training Days of Thunder.
Sure, Training Days of Thunder. We'll check that in.
Do it.
Okay, and Reggie Wayne Brady, what do you guys have?
Based on Wallen's riffing there during the conversation, I'm going to guess that ours is wrong because we went with Catch 22 Jump Street.
Unfortunately, neither team is getting points. This is the first time I think this has happened. Unfortunately, ChatGPT took one of the cops, and the fresh face was actually taking one of the characters from the other TV show.
Oh, interesting.
If I said Sipowicz, Andy Sipowicz, and Thad Castle for the quarterback, does that anything for anybody?
It's obviously Blue Mountain State something.
NYPD
Blue Mountain State.
Okay.
I know Thad was in there, and I was like, well, it says quarterback, so I'm not even going to entertain that.
Was he not the quarterback?
No, he's a linebacker.
Okay. Well, let's move on to plot 2. We'll see if you guys do better with this one. Optimistic American football coach Ted is unexpectedly recruited to mentor contestants on a competitive reality show competition. Despite knowing nothing about choreography, Ted's unwavering positivity and unique coaching style quickly win over the show's struggling contestants, as well as the panel of judges, including the tough but fair Nigel. Ted brings his football-inspired pep talks, quirky metaphors, and heartfelt advice to the rehearsal studio, helping the contestants overcome their fears and build confidence. As the final competition approaches, Ted's unconventional methods and emotional support transform the contestants into a stronger, more cohesive group, proving that heart, humor, and a sense of belonging can be just as important as technical skills on the stage.
I got it, Wally.
Oh, great.
It's going to be this.
I hate that. Do it.
We're checking.
Okay. Jonathan Lucroy Schurzy Fan Club has checked in. So, Reggie Wayne Brady, you guys can talk it out.
Can we ban this category? This is terrible.
No, I will forever. Well, trust me, I'll eventually run out where I can't squish things together, and we're probably getting close. But no, we're not banning this.
Marcus, do you know what it is?
No, God,
Okay.
no.
It's Ted Lasso So You Think You Can Dance.
Oh boy. Yeah, that's a thing that is a show.
All right. And Jersey, what do you have that Wally hates?
Um, yeah, I was trying to get there, but I had Ted Lasso as the second part for a while. So I'm going through and I'm like, America's Best Dance Crew, Dancing with the Stars. Like and none of it was making any sense. And then I was like, I know Nigel is first I was like, isn't Nigel one of the judges on America's Next Top Model? That doesn't work. And then I'm pretty sure that like Nigel was one of the judges on So You Think You Can Dance. So then it made sense. So we also checked in with Ted Lasso, You Think You Can Dance.
Both teams are getting their points because the correct answer is, in fact, Ted Lasso, So You Think You Can Dance. Plot number 3. Grizzled cop John is visiting his son Jack during NFL preseason training camp. The cameras of a popular behind-the-scenes documentary series are rolling when the camp is suddenly taken hostage by an international group of terrorists. Trapped inside the stadium, John goes into action using his streetwise tactics to take out the invaders one by one. Meanwhile, the team, led by the charismatic quarterback Caleb, helps John gather intelligence, though they're more accustomed to dealing with blitzes on the field than in real life. As John navigates locker rooms, training facilities, and skyboxes, he must outwit the tech-savvy terrorists to free the hostages and stop a plot that threatens to devastate the NFL's biggest event of the season.
We're going to check in.
All right. Jonathan Lucroy, Jersey Fan Club is checked in, so Reggie, Wayne, Brady, you guys can talk it out.
Yeah, so it's Hard Knocks, but the specifically tech-savvy terrorists, I think that was Live Free or Die Hard, I think. Because I think that's referencing John McClane.
Yeah.
Don't overthink it.
Okay. Wait.
Just don't overthink it.
See, but
just don't overthink. Just don't overthink it.
Okay, well, we're checking in with Live Free or Die Hard Knocks.
Okay, and sure, Z Boys, what'd you guys have?
Yeah, I don't think he wants to overthink it because I think he just wants to accept Die Hard Knocks, which is what we checked in with.
I will give credit for both of those because that is the right film series. I was intending for Die Hard Knocks, and technically the terrorists were tech savvy as well because they were trying to break into the vault using the computers. But it might have been, you're right, the Live Free and Die Hard was also very tech savvy, but I'll give you credit for both because it was all about Die Hard series and Hard Knocks. So after halftime, we have the following scores. Both teams got 2 of them right. So Reggie Wayne Brady's up to 195, and Jonathan Lucroy Jersey Fan Club is at 225. So today's third quarter will be Lucky 7.
Lucky 7. For this quarter, there will be 3 lists containing 7 items. The team that is trailing coming into the quarter will choose the first list and attempt to identify the items on this list one at a time. If the team has an incorrect guess, the other team can attempt to finish that list out. The team leading at the beginning of the quarter will select the second list, and whichever team is trailing after the first 2 lists will get the third list. Each item is worth 10 points.
So, with Reggie Wayne Brady currently trailing, they will get to pick the first category that they would like out of these lists. Well, list number 1 is the 7 Notre Dame Fighting Irish quarterbacks with the most career passing yards. List 2 is the 7 NBA players with at least 4,000 career turnovers. And list 3, that I don't think Scott Grimes is going to want, is the 5 countries/teams that won their first ever Olympic medals and the 2 other countries that won their first ever Olympic gold medals in Paris.
Yeah, you're right. I don't want that one.
So those are the 3 categories. guys for today. So Reggie, Wayne, Brady, you guys get to pick which list you would like to attempt first.
Obviously, my first choice would be Notre Dame quarterbacks, but
Okay, that would have been mine. I think I can contribute there.
Okay, so Reggie, Wayne, Brady, you guys are going with the Notre Dame Fighting Irish quarterback.
Josh, is this career passing yards in college?
Yes.
Oh, okay, that's a good
Son
question.
of a
Sorry. Yes, because
No, that's on me. I should have
yeah,
looked at it.
I didn't clarify that, but yes, it was meant for their time. Like
I don't know.
Notre Dame.
I don't know why I thought in my head I thought it was like in the NFL.
If
So that
that would have been the
conversation
case, I would have
looks
said like alumni or whatever, like, or I would have said NFL career passing yards.
Yeah, we'll check in.
All right. Reggie, Wayne, Brady has checked in, and they are about to start giving me their list of players that they believe are in the top 7 of Notre Dame Fighting Irish quarterbacks with the most career passing yards.
Are you?
I hit my foot. I forgot there was a shelf underneath my desk.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, then I will go with Brady Quinn.
Brady Quinn is number 1 with 11,762 yards.
And boy, is he beautiful.
Great hair.
Yeah,
Still
go
is.
ahead. Go ahead, Scott.
Ian Book.
Ian Book is number 2 on the list with 8,948 yards.
Longevity is the key, right? Jimmy Clausen.
Jimmy Clausen is number 3 on the list with 8,148 yards.
Rick Myrer.
Rick Myrer is number 7 on the list
Ooh.
with 5,997 yards.
I'm gonna save that other one for you because I don't even know who he is. So I'll go Tommy Reese.
Tommy Reese is number 4 on the list with 7,670 yards.
So we're missing 5 and 7.
5 and 6.
5 and 6. Okay.
Go with your boy, the one.
Ron Paulus.
However you pronounce that, Ron Paulus, whatever.
Doesn't matter. It's not on the list.
No, he is on the list. He's number 5 on the list with
There you go.
7,602 yards.
He and to be fair, he's the one that he was the one that made me go, wait a minute. I've never heard of this guy. Well, I don't know where he is on the pecking order. Like,
Yes,
in the NFL, I was like, I've never heard of him, and that's what gave me pause.
He was 94
Okay.
to 97 at Notre Dame. Just to give you a
Gotcha.
time frame, Marcus.
Okay, pick your favorite. Just right now. Just go. Just say one of them.
Everett Golson.
Everett Golson is number 8 on the list with 5,850 yards. So there is one last name that Jonathan Lucroy Jersey Fan Club can possibly snipe.
How long did Deshaun Kaiser
I
start for?
2 years, maybe
Yeah.
3.
And that's the same with like Sam Hartman, right? I think he was
Yeah,
2.
Hartman was he 2? Yeah, I think he was the last
Thanks.
2, right? Yeah.
Yeah, I think so.
Flip a coin.
I mean, I don't think either will be there because I'm sure there's some 4-year guys that we just don't know who they are. Probably around this what was his name? Paulus? Is that what he said?
Paulus.
Ron Paul. He
Yeah.
runs
Yeah,
for
yeah.
president all the time.
You know what? A lot of people from Notre Dame run for president. Let's go. I think I like Hartman over Kaiser.
Sure.
So we'll check in with Sam Hartman.
Sam Hartman is not in the top 13. So he is an incorrect answer. You have definitely heard of number 6 on the list. That is Steve Berline. He had 6,527 yards. After that, he already had the number 8 with Everett Golson. Number 9 was Deshaun Kaiser, who you mentioned. Number 10 is Jarius Jackson.
No.
Number
That's so
11 is Joe Theismann.
Yep.
or Joe Theismann, as his family name is
Actually
pronounced
is.
until
Yeah.
he got to be in the running for a Heisman. Number 12 was Terry Hanratty from the 1960s. And number 13 is Joe Montana. So, yeah, not bad. 6 out of 7 for Reggie Wayne Brady. All right, Jonathan Lucroy Jersey Fan Club. Which of the other two lists? Do you want the NBA players with at least 4,000 career turnovers, or do you want to go with the 5 countries/teams that won their first ever Olympic medals and the 2 other countries that won their first golds? Which one do you want?
We want the Olympics to go to the other team, so we're going to take NBA turnovers.
All right, so the Jersey boys are going to work up their list for the 7 NBA players with at least 4,000 career turnovers.
We'll check in.
All right. Jonathan Lucroy Jersey Fan Club has checked in. They're about to start giving me their list of players they believe are in the 7 players who have at least 4,000 career turnovers in the NBA. So go ahead and start listing.
Well, you want to do the cool back and forth thing?
Sure. Let me go look at where our list was. Okay,
Yeah.
You go first.
We're going to go with LeBron James.
LeBron James is number 1 with 5,211 turnovers.
How about Kobe Bean Bryant?
Kobe Bryant is number 6 on the list with 4,010 turnovers.
Don't scare us with that pause. Okay, we're going to go with Jason Kidd.
Jason Kidd is number 7 on the list with 4,003 turnovers.
All right.
Ooh.
This guy's got to be higher. Russ Westbrook?
Russell Westbrook is number 2 on the list with 4,587 turnovers.
Oh, now hearing this, I don't know which one to say next. It's one I feel a lot better about now that we had later on the list. And James Harden.
James Harden is number 10 on the list with 3,919 turnovers. So you guys successfully got 1, 2, 6, and 7. So there are still 3, 4, and 5 left for Reggie Wayne Brady to possibly steal.
We just don't care about those middle ones. We wanted the top and the end.
You like the bread, none of the meat.
Cold cuts.
No cold cuts. Get some cold cuts. Get some cold cuts.
Okay. Oh, I didn't think about this at all. I figured they would get most of them. What do you think, Scott? Do you have anything right off the rip that's...
No, the 2 I had off the top of my head are 1 and 2 with a bullet on here.
Yeah.
I like my answer, but that's just because I just don't like him, but he hasn't played enough. So we know that.
We'll have to discuss that with them after this
Yes.
question's over.
I painted that image in your mind, so that's
Yeah.
what I was going for.
So it's going to be somebody who played for effing ever. I mean, I know he's the all-time assist leader, but would it stand to think that Stockton could be up there? And you sent Malone and Stockton. Yeah, I mean, I'm just thinking of somebody who had the ball all the time. What do you think?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. John Stockton.
John Stockton is number 5 on the list with 4,244 turnovers.
Okay. That's a good place to start. Showtime Lakers. I mean, Magic had the ball a lot. Although his career was cut short a little bit, so maybe that disqualifies him. It could be Gary Payton, yeah. Yeah, it absolutely could be him.
He played forever, too. I'm just thinking.
Yeah, he did play for a long time. I'm good with that. I mean,
yeah. All right.
Okay.
So,
Gary Payton.
Gary Payton is not in the top 15.
Oh, good for him.
good ball control.
All right. Well, you guys missed 3 and 4. You got John Stockton, but you missed the guy that he was throwing lots of passes to. Number 3 on the list is Karl Malone. And then if you were thinking Malones, number 4 on the list is Moses Malone.
I'm sorry, Walling.
We
had-
said
We were going to say Malone because it gave us 2 options.
I would have made you give a first name, but either first name
And when we would have
worked.
known,
Yeah.
and then we would have gotten both anyway, right? Because we wouldn't have said Jeff.
I I just came up with a great missing link with Karl Malone, Nick Cannon, and Tyreek Hill in it. So,
Just
So
to let you know, some
yeah.
other guys on the
Go ahead.
list. Number 8 was Julius Erving. Number 9 was Artis Gilmore. We already had Harden at 10. 11 was Isaiah Thomas. 12 was Hakeem Olajuwon. 13, Patrick Ewing. 14, Paul Pierce. And 15 was mentioned, Magic Johnson.
Yeah. So Scott came to me with I want to say Trae Young, but it's just because I despise his stupid head. And then I followed it with his hair is an abomination, like a lollipop got dropped in a barber shop. And he said, looks like he dipped his head into a bathtub at a porn shoot.
Accurate. It's all accurate.
So
Well,
there you
the
go.
haircut.
Images in your head, listeners, for Trae Young's hair.
Well, oddly enough, it is currently tied 265 to 265.
Wow.
But I think the only way to go with that then is to go with the team that started behind. So, and I'm sure that, well, yeah, maybe they'll have a better clue anyway. So we're going to go with Reggie, Wayne, Brady. You guys get to start off list 3, which is once again the country/teams with their first ever medals, plus the 2 countries that won their first ever gold medals, the 2 other countries. Because some of the countries that got their first did get gold, just, but there are 2 other.
Gotcha.
That's why I capitalized all of other to make sure you guys would see that, to be like, all right, well, why don't you guys take some time to come up with your list?
We'll check in.
Okay, so Reggie, Wayne, Brady is checked in, and they are going to give me their list.
first one, we're going to go with St. Lucia.
That is one of the ones that actually is the reason I thought of this one. St. Lucia is one that got their first ever. They actually got their first 2 ever. Julian Alfred won the gold in the women's 100 and the silver in the women's 200. She's fast.
Yes, very fast. Next, I don't even remember the sport, but it's just one of those things that I watched so much of the gold that I remember this vividly being said. We'll say Albania.
Albania also got their first 2 medals. 2 different wrestlers won bronze medals. Islam Dudayev and German Valiev. Best guess I can. Sorry if I've butchered those names. They're probably not listening to the show anyway. But they won the freestyle 65 kilogram and the freestyle 76 kilogram bronzes.
You said that in American.
Gable Stevenson.
Stevenson.
Okay. And then we are not absolutely positive on this, but we're going to say Grenada.
Grenada is incorrect. All right, so you guys got 2 of the, and I will say you got 2 of the first evers, just since we have kind of a delineation. So they got 2 of the first evers, which leaves 3 first evers, and then the 2 first ever golds.
Botswana.
Botswana won their first ever gold in the men's 200 when Letziel Tebogo won the gold medal.
Lauren Hill was happy when the refugees won a medal this time.
That is correct. The refugee Olympic team won a bronze medal. Cindy Winner Janku Nagamba. Sorry for butchering your name.
Sydney won.
But
She is
won,
a listener, though.
She won a boxing women's 75 kilogram bronze medal.
And then Dominica?
Dominica won their first Olympic medal, but it also was a gold when Thea Lafond won the women's triple jump gold.
Scott, name a country.
Scott, name a country.
Okay. Cambodia.
Hey, there you go.
Unfortunately, Cambodia is incorrect.
I'm sorry to people of Cambodia if you've have a long list of Olympic medals. I apologize for underselling you.
How many?
All right, so you guys missed one who got their first ever medal, and that was Cabo Verde when
My
David
favorite Mexican place.
I don't know, David. It's either Pina or Pina, depending. Won the 51 kilogram bronze for men's boxing, and the other gold was Guatemala when Adriana Ruano Oliva won the women's trap shoot gold. So not bad, you guys. Together, we got 5 of the 7. That is pretty good. As a matter of fact, those
you said the pronunciation of Pina. It depends on how you say it. If you like getting caught in the rain, or
if you're not into yoga, it's Pina.
Yeah, or into health food.
It's probably de Pina, but we have one of our listeners, John Pina, is very clear that it is not Pina. So I was just like, I don't know how this. Although he's a boxer, I should.
51 kilograms is lighter weight than everyone on Marcus's JV football team, just to clarify.
What happened?
112 pounds. 112. Those are boxers.
Oh, yeah. He's 24 kilograms lighter than the refugee woman who won her boxing medal. So, okay. So maybe I'm not. Well, I bet he still throws a pretty hard punch. That's my guess. But he's probably not very tall, so I might be fine. He might not be able to punch me in the jaw.
But does this Pina want to punch Stuart Scott in the face like the other Pina?
God, I hope not. I hope not.
Oh my gosh, I forgot about that. That was amazing.
All right, let me make sure I credit the Jonathan Lucroy Jersey Fan Club for getting their 3.
Also, Cambodia, no Olympic medals.
After the third quarter, we have the following scores. It is a close one. Reggie Wayne Brady's at 285, and the Jonathan Lucroy Jersey Fan Club is at 295. 285 to 295. And that brings us to the fourth quarter.
The fourth quarter, known as Put Your Fours Up. This quarter consists of 4 categorized questions that teams will wager up to 100 points each, not to exceed their current point total.
The categories for today are as follows. Question 1, Paris, in reference to the Olympics. Question 2, Players Weekend, in reference to Major League Baseball. Question 3, Canton, in reference to the NFL. And question 4, The Cycle, in reference to Major League Baseball. It is now time for the teams to place their wagers.
We'd like to take a minute to invite you to follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at BenchwarmersTP. We also have a Facebook group for fans of the pod called The Bench. Join us there to comment on the latest episodes and share cool sports facts and trivia. If you'd be willing to rate and review us on iTunes or Stitcher, we'd greatly appreciate the support so that other people may find this podcast. Thanks.
Now that the wagers are in, on to the questions. All right, question 1 in the category of Paris. 2024 was the 3rd time that Paris has hosted the Summer Olympics. Name either other year that Paris hosted the Summer Olympics.
We'll check in.
Okay. Jonathan Lucroy Jersey Fan Club is checked in, so Reggie Wayne Brady, you guys have a couple of minutes to talk it out.
I was hoping this was one of the ones where there's a hidden clue in the category, but, someone went with one word.
It's very on the nose, isn't it?
Yeah. I know I've just been trying to go back, and as far back as I'm going, I'm like, okay, so it's got to be pretty old. I don't know.
I mean, I would imagine we'd probably chunk out the 30s and 40s because of that whole World War II thing. Probably wasn't.
Yeah. So before that
whole thing, that low-key thing,
that little, that minor disagreement.
I don't know. Gosh, it's like I said, I assume it's before, obviously, what you're talking about, World Wars. But I don't have a good guess. So
let's just guess a year there was actually an Olympics. That would
that would be preferable.
That would be somewhat better. Give me a decade, and I'll give you a year.
50s.
That wasn't the direction I thought you were going.
Okay, I don't. What would you call what do you call the 1900s?
Sure. Yeah.
That's what-
Sure.
Mhm.
Pick one.
1908. I think that was an Olympic year.
Okay.
Yeah, we're going to check in with 1908 for
Okay.
absolutely no reason
And
60 points.
Jonathan Lucratius. Oh, sorry. How many points?
60.
All right. And Jonathan Lucratius, your fan club, what was your answer and wager?
Crazy. We picked the same decade.
We did. We just went the opposite direction from an earlier question because I thought I remembered hearing it on some of the earlier broadcasts that Paris was before St. Louis. So we went with 1900.
One team will be getting points. The two possible correct answers are 1900. And as was mentioned numerous times on the broadcast that I listened to, that it had been 100 years since Paris had hosted. They also hosted in 1924.
Hmm.
So 1900 and 1924 were the possible answers. Yeah.
Wallen, can you tell him how many points?
yeah.
One less than 70.
Nice.
One less than 70 points.
All right. Well, the Jersey boys are increasing their lead. So we don't need to talk about numbers quite yet. Let's see what happens in these next couple. Question 2 in the category of Players Weekend. What is unique about the custom bats being used by the likes of Ernie Clement, Adolis Garcia, Taylor Ward, Ryan Jeffers, and Salvador Perez this weekend? Appropriate given that many students have already started the school year.
We'll check in.
All right. Reggie Wayne Brady has checked in. So Jonathan Lucratius, the fan club, you guys can talk it out. Let me know your answer and your wager.
Bobby Witt Jr. has the best bat this weekend. He has the, what is his name? Pablo Sanchez. He has a Pablo Sanchez
Does he?
bat. Yes.
He also
That's
has
hilarious.
the best. He also has the best bat all season since he's like, you know,
He's
winning
just
the
casually
title.
hitting over
Throwing the ball.
350. Yeah.
Well, yeah, when you bat like 480 for a month, that tends to help your average. I think they're all using pencil bats.
That makes a lot of sense.
Okay, check it in.
How
For
many
how many?
points?
For one more than 68.
Hey, and Reggie Wimbrady, what do you guys have for an answer and wager?
We also basically at the same time, Scott and I sent it to each other. We said pencil bat, and we are also checking in with that for 75 points.
75 points.
Mm.
All right. Well, both teams are getting their points because, yes, those players were using bats that were painted like a number 2 pencil. And Jeffers hit a home run using the number 2 pencil bat.
He sure did.
Moving on to question 3 in the category of Canton. Who was the only player drafted in the top 5 of the 1989 NFL draft not to be inducted into the Pro Football Hall of Fame?
Okay, we'll check in. That's fine.
All right, Reggie Wayne Brady has checked in. So, Jonathan Lucratius, a fan club, you got a couple of minutes to talk it out. Let me know your answer and your wager.
Well,
Yeah, I think you got it.
yeah, it's the Aikman draft for me.
Yes.
And then Scott started rattling them off, and then I'm like, who's the guy in there that flamed out big? Tony Mandarich. So we'll check in Tony Mandarich.
For how many points?
For Michael Irvin, amount of points.
For those who aren't Cowboys fans?
88.
Okay.
Or CeeDee Lamb. Or Des Bryant. Or Drew Pearson. Or
All right. And Reggie Wayne Brady, what do you guys have for an answer and a wager?
Yeah. It was in that top 5. It was Aikman at 1, and then Barry Sanders at 3, Derek Thomas at 4, and Dion at 5, and the incredible Bulk himself, Tony Mandarich, was number 2, and he is not in the Hall of Fame. So we checked in with Tony Mandarich for six. Damn it. Never mind. For 75 points.
All right, both teams are getting their points. The correct answer was Tony Mandrich, the incredible bust. Because boy, was he a bust. Not so good.
Salvaged his career though. He had a nice little run at the end of it with
he did,
Indy.
but considering the hype that he had coming out.
God. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So you mentioned the 4 players, so I'm not going to mention them again because Marcus, you hit it right on the head. But since the NFL-AFL merger in 1966, no other year has seen more than 2 of the top 5 draft picks get inducted into Canton. And from 1966 to 2000, there are 12 draft classes that had 0 top 5 picks make the Hall of Fame. So, yeah, that was a pretty good top of the draft. That's because I went through each of those ones looking as like, was there a 3 in there at all? Nope. A lot of 1s and 2s and 0s. And then just the 89 was just chock full at the top.
Yes.
Sorry, Green Bay. It didn't work out so well for you guys there.
You're not,
but you know
you're
what?
Not sorry.
You are not.
Your run started pretty quick after this.
They had a good decade. Yeah, they had a good decade.
I mean, the 80s still was not
90s.
great. 80s was pretty rough for them.
After this, though.
But once they got into the 90s and on, they've been pretty fine. So, yeah, I don't feel too bad. Well, I mean, even with both teams getting that one right, Jonathan and Lucroy got a little extra point, so they've increased their lead. We don't need to talk numbers quite yet. Let's move on to question 4 in the category of the cycle. 6 players have had a walk-off home run as the final hit of their cycles. The last 2 were accomplished by players for the Colorado Rockies in 2010 and 2017. One was an outfielder and the other an infielder. Name both of these players.
Ooh.
Yep.
Lee.
I was really hoping this cycle was a steroid question.
Now, that question 3 was more about.
Yeah,
steroids.
I know. I was just gonna say. I was like, we just had it. Good old Tony. He had more than 2 cycles. I know that.
Yeah.
All right, let's check it in.
All right. Reggie Wayne Brady has checked in. So, Jonathan, Lucroy, Jersey Fan Club, you guys have about a minute and a half to talk it out. Give me your answers and your wager.
So I think, in my head, Charlie Blackmon is the one that did it in 2017.
Okay.
I feel like I remember him doing that, which means the infielder is 2010. So I think that gives us Helton, that gives us Tulo. I guess technically that would give us like catcher, so that would give us like, was that Yorvit Torrealba? I think was their catcher.
God, yeah.
Like you mentioned, EY Jr. was there in 2010, and maybe Ryan Spielborgs was still there at third. Maybe this is like right after Garrett Atkins, because this is a few years after the World Series team. So
yeah, I was trying to think of when Helton retired. Because he
probably right around that time, but it's still the first baseman hit for the cycle isn't too common, right? So even if he was gone and someone else is playing first,
did Ubaldo Jimenez hit for the cycle?
He gave up all the hits for a cycle. He pitched first.
He had that one good year though, man. That was amazing.
We can go Tulo and Blackmon.
Yeah,
I don't remember Tulo doing that, but again, it was at this point now so long ago that it certainly could have happened. I said Clint Barnes, but I do think that was a few years prior to that. He had like that crazy first half.
Brad Hopp was an outfielder, right?
He was an outfielder, yeah. And I think he was gone by then too. Same with Holiday. Garrett Atkins was their third baseman. I think he was gone by 2010. And he wasn't a guy that would hit for the cycle. So we can go Blackmon and Tulo and just hope that those are the right ones.
Sure.
All right, we're going to check in with Charlie Blackmon and Troy Tulowitzki for 2 more than 67 points.
Okay, and Reggie Wayne Brady, what did you guys have for answers and a wager?
I remember the first one of these in 2010. And I remember it because he was one of my favorite players at the time. I was positive it's Carlos Gomez. not Carlos Gomez, Carlos Gonzalez. And then when it came to 2017, I was thinking Tulowitzki, but then Scott, you got us down, I think, the right path with Trevor Story, because you said you didn't know why it popped up in your head, but I think he had some sort of crazy like first week in the majors where he was hitting a bunch of home runs and he hit for the cycle, something like that. So yeah, that's what we settled on. So we checked in with Carlos Gonzalez and Trevor Story for 75 points.
Unfortunately, neither team is getting points. Both are losing their points. One of the 4 guesses was correct.
Hey,
Marcus, you were correct that the 2010 cycle finishing with the walk-off home run was Carlos Gonzalez. But you probably had to pick the biggest name on the 2017 Colorado Rockies.
Nolan Arenado.
Third baseman Nolan Arenado had a walk-off. Charlie Blackmon did hit for the cycle, not with a walk-off home run in 2018. So it was close around there.
1 year off, yeah.
But it wasn't a walk-off home run. The other 4 players to accomplish this were Ken Boyer in 1961, Cesar Tovar in 1972, George Brett in 1979, and Dwight Evans in 1984. So obviously you went from 84 to 2010 before somebody finished off a cycle with a walk-off home run. And I just thought it was interesting that the last 2 have been Rockies. Now, granted, they play in Coors Field where everybody gets home runs, but All right, well, had that last question. I thought you were maybe going to get there, Marcus, when you said the first one right. I'm like, they might pull out the win. But you didn't. So the game has come to an end. Here are the final scores. Reggie Wayne Brady finishes with 300 points. And our clipboard captains of the game, who are receiving the coveted Brett Rippon Award with 452 points, is the Jonathan Lucroy Scherzy Fan Club. So yeah, fourth quarter, it was a little not as much hints in there, but sometimes that's the way the fourth quarter goes.
It's been so long since he was a Rocky in my head that I kind of forgot about Nolan Arenado. If we had even thought of him, I might have said that. I would have been like, why not just Arenado because he's the biggest name? But yeah, it's close.
Yeah, my bad, Marcus. I wrote Nolan Arenado and then I deleted it and didn't send it to you.
Scott Hyland, thank you for coming on again.
Absolutely.
Is there anything that you would like to say before we call it a night? I
just want to apologize to the newly enshrined Todd Helton for doubting his speed. He had 37 triples in his career, and Marcus said the only way he was going to hit a triple is if the ball ran up that stupid hill in Houston and rolled away from everyone, which I thought was pretty good until I looked up that he had 37 triples. And now
yeah, hey, in Coors Field, it's those gaps run deep. And so apparently, yeah, hit 37 triples. I never would have guessed that.
I was shocked when I just looked at it.
We're sorry, Todd Helton.
Peyton Manning's back after Todd Helton.
All right. Well, thank you again for joining us tonight. Thank you again for being a member of our Patreon team. We really appreciate everybody who's willing to throw a couple bucks our way to make sure that we can pay for all the stuff to bring you all this nonsense every week. So with that, on behalf of Marcus, Scott, Eric, the rest of the Benchwarmers, I've been Josh Bomback, and we'd like to say thanks for listening to the Benchwarmers Trivia Podcast. And until next time, we'll keep the bench warm.
That ball hit high and deep. Stretch. Get on back there. They look up. You can put it on the board. Yes.
Into deep left center for Mitchell. And we'll see you tomorrow night.
That great music you're listening to is by Justin Nozick. Thanks to him for producing that music for us. You've been listening to the Benchwarmers Trivia Podcast. Make sure to check us out on all of our social media. We are at BenchwarmersTP.